Welcome back to Empowerment Library, where powerful ideas meet practical change. In our last video, we explored Getting Things Done by David Allen, a deep dive into mastering workflow and productivity with clarity and control. But today, we're shifting gears from how we organize our tasks to why we keep going, especially when things get tough. This episode is all about Grit by Angela Duckworth, a groundbreaking book that reveals why talent alone is never enough. Duckworth, a psychologist and former teacher, argues that the real driver of success isn't genius or luck. It's passion and perseverance for long-term goals. In other words, grit. She combines personal stories, scientific research, and interviews with high achievers, from cadets at West Point to spelling bee champions, to uncover the truth about what makes people resilient, determined, and unstoppable. Whether you're chasing a dream, building a career, or just trying to stay motivated, Grit will give you the mindset and tools to stay in the game when others quit.
Part 1. What grit is and why it matters. In Part 1, Angela Duckworth lays the foundation for understanding grit, not as talent or intelligence, but as the relentless combination of passion and perseverance. She opens with powerful stories of success, showing that the people who truly succeed aren't always the most gifted, but the ones who simply don't quit. Chapter 2 challenges the talent myth, revealing how our obsession with natural ability blinds us to the real engine of success, effort. Duckworth introduces her famous formula, effort counts twice, emphasizing that while talent builds skill, it's effort that transforms skill into achievement. She also shares the grit scale, a simple tool to measure our own grit, and explores how gritty people tend to pursue long-term goals with stamina. Finally, she stresses that grit isn't fixed. It can be developed, strengthened, and expanded with time and intention. This section reframes success as less about who you are now, and more about how deeply you're willing to commit and grow. Chapter 1. Showing Up. Angela Duckworth begins the book by recounting her personal journey, from management consultant to public school teacher to psychologist, driven by a burning question: what really drives success? Through her experience teaching math to struggling students, she observed that natural talent didn't predict who would succeed. Instead, the students who kept trying, even after failure, consistently outperformed those who gave up easily. This sparked her research into grit, the unique blend of sustained passion and perseverance. Duckworth argues that in the long run, grit beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. She backs this claim with stories of high achievers like West Point cadets and national spelling bee finalists, showing how consistent effort over time matters more than quick wins. The title Showing Up speaks to the power of commitment. Those who succeed simply keep showing up, even when it's hard. In a world that worships brilliance, Duckworth introduces grit as the true secret weapon. Chapter 2. Distracted by Talent. In this chapter, Duckworth explores society's obsession with talent, and how it misleads us. From classrooms to companies, people often equate talent with guaranteed success. We praise child prodigies and gifted individuals, assuming they'll go far. But Duckworth warns that this mindset can be dangerous. It causes us to overlook the importance of effort and persistence, and it can discourage those who aren't seen as naturals. She gives examples from sports, education, and business, showing how talent alone doesn't guarantee long-term achievement. In fact, she argues, overemphasizing talent can lead to laziness or entitlement, while underestimating effort can crush potential. The chapter challenges us to rethink how we define success, not as a gift you're born with, but as something you earn through determination. Duckworth's message is clear: talent may open the door, but grit is what keeps you moving forward. Chapter 3. Effort Counts Twice. In one of the book's most powerful chapters, Angela Duckworth introduces her central formula. Talent times effort equals skill. Skill times effort equals achievement. This means effort plays a double role, first in building skill, then in turning that skill into real-world results. While talent may give someone a head start, it's consistent effort that refines ability and pushes someone toward greatness. Duckworth backs this up with examples from musicians, athletes, and entrepreneurs who achieved mastery not by being the best naturally, but by practicing with discipline over long periods. She emphasizes that we often admire end results, like a perfect performance or a major win, without recognizing the thousands of hours of deliberate practice behind it. This chapter shifts the spotlight from how gifted are you to how hard are you willing to work over time. In Duckworth's view, grit isn't just about stubbornness, it's about smart, sustained effort that multiplies over years. Chapter 4. How gritty are you? In this chapter, Duckworth introduces the grit scale, a self-assessment tool she developed to measure how passionate and persevering a person is toward long-term goals. The scale focuses on two core traits: consistency of interests and perseverance of effort. Through studies and surveys, Duckworth found that people who score high on grit tend to stick with their goals, even through setbacks, boredom, or failure. Interestingly, high grit scores often correlate with success more than IQ or physical ability. Duckworth explains that grit isn't about intensity or short bursts of enthusiasm, it's about staying committed over the long haul. She encourages readers to reflect on their own level of grit, not to judge themselves, but to see where they can grow. The chapter also debunks the myth that gritty people never change their minds. Rather, they focus on meaningful goals and avoid getting distracted by shiny, short-term alternatives. Ultimately, grit is less about how you feel today, and more about what you'll keep showing up for tomorrow. Chapter 5. Grit Grows. In this chapter, Duckworth delivers an empowering message. Grit isn't fixed, it can grow. While many people believe traits like determination or passion are innate, research shows that grit develops over time, shaped by experience, mindset, and effort. Duckworth draws on psychologist Carol Dweck's concept of the growth mindset, which teaches that abilities can be improved with persistence. She shares stories of people who weren't born gritty, but became so through challenges, mentors, and purpose-driven practice. Importantly, she explains that young people in particular can build grit through the right environment, one that encourages effort, values resilience, and allows for failure. Grit, she argues, is like a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it becomes. Whether you're 15 or 50, your level of grit isn't a life sentence. It's a skill you can grow, especially when you commit to goals that deeply matter to you. This chapter closes part 1 with a hopeful message. The path to success is not about who you are, but who you're becoming.
Part 2. Growing Grit from the Inside Out. In Part 2, Duckworth shifts focus from what grit is to how it develops within individuals. She identifies 4 psychological components that fuel grit: interest, practice, purpose, and hope. First, she emphasizes that grit begins with interest, a genuine, enduring curiosity that fuels passion. But passion alone isn't enough. It must be followed by deliberate practice, a structured, effortful process aimed at continuous improvement. Then comes purpose, the belief that your work matters and serves something bigger than yourself. Finally, she highlights hope as the emotional engine that keeps gritty people going, especially in the face of failure or struggle. Unlike blind optimism, hope in this context is about believing you can improve with effort. This part of the book is deeply motivational, offering not just science but practical ways to nurture grit from within. Duckworth's core message here is that grit isn't just a trait. It's a lifelong journey, powered by meaning, mastery, and mindset. Chapter 6. Interest. Duckworth explains that grit begins with passion, and passion starts with interest. People who love what they do are more likely to stick with it, even when things get hard. However, she clarifies that most passions don't appear overnight. They're discovered, explored, and nurtured over time. Duckworth urges readers to follow their curiosity and give themselves time to grow into their interests. She shares stories of high achievers who started with a spark of fascination and then deepened it through years of experience. The key isn't chasing instant passion, but patiently developing it. Chapter 7. Practice. In this chapter, Duckworth highlights that gritty people don't just work hard. They engage in deliberate practice. This means practicing with clear goals, full concentration, immediate feedback, and a focus on improvement. She explains that true mastery isn't just about logging hours, but about stretching beyond your comfort zone again and again. Gritty individuals embrace boredom and repetition because they see it as the path to growth. Duckworth reminds us, it's not just how long you practice, but how intentionally you do it that builds excellence. Chapter 8. Purpose. Duckworth reveals that gritty people often connect their work to a deeper sense of meaning. They believe their efforts serve something larger than themselves. While passion may begin with personal interest, long-term perseverance is often fueled by purpose. She shares stories of people who find motivation in helping others, contributing to their community, or advancing a cause. This sense of purpose strengthens grit by giving effort emotional weight. Duckworth encourages readers to look beyond self-interest and ask, how does my work matter to the world? Chapter 9. Hope. In this chapter, Duckworth emphasizes that hope is the engine of grit, the belief that things can improve with effort. Gritty people don't see failure as permanent. They view setbacks as opportunities to learn and grow. This kind of hope isn't passive wishing. It's an active mindset rooted in resilience and perseverance. Duckworth connects this to the growth mindset, which teaches that abilities can develop over time. Ultimately, hope keeps people moving forward, especially when progress is slow or difficult. It's the belief that tomorrow can be better, and that we have the power to shape it.
Part 3. Growing Grit from the Outside In. In the final part of the book, Duckworth explores how grit is not only cultivated within but also shaped by the people and environments around us. She begins with parenting, showing that children develop grit best under a style called wise parenting, a balance of warmth, structure, and high expectations. Gritty kids often have parents or mentors who model perseverance and encourage them to stick with tough goals. She then turns to extracurricular activities as key training grounds for grit, where young people learn discipline, commitment, and how to overcome failure. The hard thing rule, sticking with a difficult pursuit, is highlighted as a powerful habit. Lastly, Duckworth examines how organizations and communities can build cultures that normalize and reward effort, resilience, and long-term thinking. From military academies to sports teams and businesses, gritty cultures inspire individuals to rise to shared standards. The message is clear. Grit grows stronger when we live, learn, and work in environments that expect it. Chapter 10. Parenting for Grit. Duckworth explores how parenting influences a child's development of grit, emphasizing that grit can be taught at home. Through her research, she identifies the most effective parenting style as wise parenting, a balance of being supportive and demanding. Gritty children often come from homes where adults set high expectations but also provide warmth, encouragement, and guidance. She shares stories of parents who didn't force specific careers or passions, but consistently expected effort and follow-through. Importantly, gritty parents often model grit themselves, showing perseverance, discipline, and commitment in their own lives. Duckworth warns against overprotectiveness or extreme pressure, arguing that grit thrives in environments where struggle is allowed, even encouraged. Ultimately, children develop grit when they're both challenged and believed in, taught that they can do hard things and expected to try. Chapter 11. The Playing Fields of Grit. In this chapter, Duckworth shows how structured extracurricular activities, like sports, music, or clubs, act as powerful training grounds for grit. These activities teach young people to commit, endure failure, and strive for improvement. She introduces the hard thing rule used in her own family. Everyone must choose a challenging activity and stick with it. Quitting is only allowed at the end of a season or cycle, not on a whim. This discipline builds habits of persistence and resilience over time. Duckworth emphasizes that it's not the specific activity that matters, but the practice of seeing something through. She also notes that involvement in such activities during adolescence often correlates with success later in life. Through consistent effort in real-world challenges, children and teens internalize what it means to work hard and keep going, key elements of grit. Chapter 12. A Culture of Grit. Duckworth explains that grit doesn't just come from within, it also grows in response to the culture we're part of. Whether in families, schools, teams, or workplaces, people absorb the values and expectations around them. She shares examples of organizations like West Point, top-performing companies, and elite sports teams, where perseverance, excellence, and purpose are deeply ingrained into the culture. These environments foster grit by holding everyone to high standards and reinforcing a shared identity built on resilience. When people are surrounded by others who expect effort and never give up, they're more likely to rise to that level. Duckworth emphasizes that gritty cultures don't just demand results, they model grit, support it, and celebrate it. Over time, individuals adopt the habits, language, and mindset of the group. In short, if you want to become grittier, surround yourself with gritty people. Chapter 13, Conclusion. Angela Duckworth closes grit by tying together all the key lessons. Success isn't about who's the smartest or most talented, it's about who stays committed over the long haul. Grit, she reminds us, is a combination of passion and perseverance for meaningful goals, and it's far more predictive of success than raw talent. She re-emphasizes her formula: effort counts twice, showing that talent may spark skill, but effort turns skill into achievement. Duckworth reflects on the personal and scientific journey that led her to this discovery, and she urges readers to think long-term, to find what matters deeply to them and stay the course. Grit, she argues, grows when we actively pursue interests, engage in purposeful practice, find deeper meaning in what we do, and hold on to hope even when we fail. But grit is also contagious. When we surround ourselves with gritty people and gritty cultures, we rise to their expectations. In the end, Duckworth's message is deeply human and empowering. You don't need to be extraordinary to achieve extraordinary things, you just need to keep going. The ability to overcome boredom, frustration, and defeat is what sets achievers apart. Grit isn't about being perfect. It's about being resilient, and never giving up on what matters most.
That wraps up our deep dive into Grit by Angela Duckworth. A powerful reminder that success comes not just from talent, but from passion, perseverance, and purpose. If this message spoke to you, give the video a thumbs up and let us know in the comments. What goal are you sticking with, no matter what? Up next, we're diving into a book that could completely transform how you think about money and time. Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin and Joe Dominguez. It's more than financial advice. It's about reclaiming your life energy and redefining what enough really means. This is Empowerment Library, your space for books that change minds and lives, from personal growth to financial freedom. If you're ready to level up your thinking, hit subscribe, tap the bell icon, and share this journey with someone who needs it. Thanks for watching, and stay empowered.